Your credit card.
This is CNN.
President-elect Bill Clinton is shifting into higher gear on the road to the White House. An encouraging economic sign as the transition speeds ahead of the shortest lines for new unemployment claims in more than 2 years. Welcome to NewsHour. In Washington, I'm Reid Collins. Up until now, President-elect Bill Clinton has been more or less tight-lipped about the transition into the Oval Office. An hour from now, some of that may change. The man soon to be president is scheduled to hold his first formal news conference since he won the election. CNN's Wolf Blitzer joins us now from Little Rock and has a look at what we might expect here. Wolf?
Reid, in this room in about 1 hour, President-elect Bill Clinton is indeed going to meet with the news media formally for the first time. And at that time, he's expected to make several important staff announcements for his transition team. Among those expected to be announced include Professor Robert Reid of the Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University, who will be in charge of the economic transition. Other principal deputies also expected to be announced by President-elect Clinton include George Stephanopoulos and David Wilhelm, principal deputies who will also have very major responsibilities throughout the whole wide range of the transition. Clinton says the transition so far has been going very smoothly. He's invited the 3 top Democratic congressional leaders here to Little Rock on Sunday to meet with him and to go over what he can expect. House Speaker Tom Foley, House Majority Leader Richard Gephardt, and Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell. He's expected to leave for Washington next Wednesday, and it is then he's likely to meet with President Bush at the White House. Clinton and his aides say the conversation the president-elect had with the president yesterday was very, very positive, and they're looking forward to a smooth transition. The president-elect is also projecting a commander-in-chief type of image. This was very, very clear yesterday when he used the occasion of a Veterans Day speech to deliver a forceful message on the need for a strong U.S. defense despite the end of the Cold War. After the speech, answering reporters' questions, Clinton also made clear he plans to honor his campaign commitment to lift the ban on homosexuals serving in the military, a decision that's likely to cause an uproar at the Pentagon. At the upcoming news conference, Clinton is also expected to take questions for about 30 minutes, but could go longer, perhaps even 45 minutes. His aides say they have done nothing all that unusual to prepare him for this first formal exchange with the news media. Indeed, some of those aides continue to express surprise at how the news media is taking all of this all that seriously. Reid?
All right, thank you, Wolf Blitzer, and we'll be rejoining Wolf at about 1:30, for example. We have a special preview of the Clinton news conference. Of course, we're planning to bring you the conference itself live. That's set for 1 p.m. Eastern. Throughout the campaign, Clinton was pledging he would lift the ban on homosexuals in the military, referred, as Wolf Blitzer said, again yesterday to that pledge after delivering his Veterans Day speech in Little Rock.
We need everybody in America who's got a contribution to make, as well to obey the law and work hard and play for the rules. And that's the way I feel.
Well, first, I think it's a very unwise and unfortunate decision. The impact is going to be, I think, long range and debilitating in terms of combat readiness.
There'll be a small but vocal minority who will be opposed to the change, but they can easily be handled with the proper amount of education and leadership.
And about 1 hour ago, the Navy enlisted man discharged after admitting he's gay was reinstated to the Navy. The petty officer Keith Meinhold was returned to duties at Moffett Naval Air Station south of San Francisco. This pending resolution of a lawsuit that challenges the military's ban on homosexuals. Well, the president-elect's top advisors have been reaching out to the present administration as they must. One of the men that leads the transition, Vernon Jordan, the chairman of the transition, went calling last evening on the White House Chief of Staff, James Baker, at Baker's home. The two men met privately for about 70 minutes. Jordan said that he and Baker concluded that, and we quote Jordan, "This is going to be the best and the smoothest transition in the history of the country." As Governor Clinton gets ready to take on the nation's unemployment problems, there's been some positive news on the job front. Late last month, the number of Americans lining up for their first-time jobless benefits shrank to the lowest level it's been in more than 2 years. For the week that ended October 31st, the first-time claims fell to 355,000. This is down 5,000 from the week before. Some analysts are claiming the steady weekly improvement over the past 4 months means the unemployment rate itself should improve also. Others say the economy must grow faster, though, to generate many new jobs. Protecting a child from molesters. Well, ahead on NewsHour, our continuing look at sex offenders and how to teach children to spot the danger. And this day after Veterans Day, women veterans kicking off a countdown for a memorial in their honor. On the medical front, give them the news, even if it is bad news. We'll tell you about that and more coming right up.
Ruby Jacobson, cancer patient.
Just outside my door, the nurses were really busy, which is typical of nurses. And there I was, glad the tests were over, glad the news was good. I was going home, getting on with my life. I felt great.
Hi, kid. Hi. Big day, huh? Yeah.
But a few hours earlier, waiting to find out, I was scared. Scared the cancer had come back. And somehow my nurse knew it. Busy as she was, she put her duties aside and made me believe everything would be all right. Later, when she found out the good news, I could see the relief in her eyes and the happiness she felt for me.
For someone who cares, call Cancer Treatment Centers of America. 1-800-842-0500.
At cancer treatment centers, they're never too busy to be a friend.
Usually, when you send flowers out of town, you give the order to somebody who takes a cut. Then he passes the order to somebody else who takes a cut. But now there's Flowers Direct that actually lets you speak to a florist in the area where you're sending the flowers. Flowers Direct. All we cut is the middleman. Call Flowers Direct now, 1-800-621-2121.
A late night snack, and no bag keeps it fresher than Ziploc brand storage bags with the gripper zipper. Tough, tiny teeth you can feel gripping, so you know freshness is locked in.
Honey.
Caught red-handed. There's only one Ziploc.
Women make up almost 50% of the American workforce, yet they fill only 1 of every 20 executive positions. Why aren't more women rising to the top? A CNN special report, Beyond the Glass Ceiling, Sunday at 9 on CNN.
Funeral services are being held at this hour in Detroit for Melise Green, the motorist beaten to death last week by Detroit police. Witnesses had said that 2 officers confronted Green near a suspected crack house, then beat him with a flashlight after he'd refused to drop something from his hand. 7 officers have been suspended. The county prosecutor says he'll decide late next week whether to seek criminal charges against the officers. An apparent break in the case of the sniper and rock-throwing attacks along Interstate 295 near Jacksonville, Florida. Police say they've arrested 2 teenage boys alleged to be gang members in the wounding of a motorist on July the 29th. One of those teenagers had been charged in another attack along I-295. Investigators say it is possible the 9-month-long rash of attacks might be part of a gang initiation rite. They caution, though, this case is not closed.
There's a possibility that the folks we've got have been involved in other incidences, but I think it's premature to say we've solved the problem out there yet. We'll have to see. A lot of information's coming in. There's more people to be talked to. If at one point we begin to feel like we've got the folks that are responsible for the bulk of it out there, then we may make a different decision, but I think it's too soon to do that.
The National Guard actually began to patrol that 20-mile beltway around Jacksonville last week. This after the AAA had issued a public warning to motorists to stay off it. We turn now to our What Else is News segment and our second of 2 reports from CNN's affiliate station KUSA in Denver about how to protect children from child molesters. KUSA's Christina Mendoza reports.
There are a number of myths about sex offenders. One, the dirty old man myth. The most dangerous sex offender is not the conspicuously evil-looking and dangerous person, but the very nice guy or woman who you just simply can't believe that they would do this.
We tell our children over and over again to be careful of strangers, but how much do they really remember? We came to Washington Park one weekend to find out, but we want you to know that we asked the permission of the parents who were sitting nearby before we ever approached the children.
Come on.
We recruited Officer Greg Cook from the Denver Police Department to pose as a stranger.
Hi. Could you help me hold my dog a little bit? He's a little wet and cold. He's been in the snow. Would you hold him for me for a while? Yeah. Would you like to?
Greg's dog, Weber, turned out to be the perfect lure.
Come on. Come on. Do you want to come? Let's go over here. Wait, how about, you want to go way over there on the other side by the boathouse? You want to go way over there by the boathouse? We'll make this our secret.
This little boy followed Greg off the playground. Other children wouldn't go that far, but they would freely give out their names and let Greg get close to them. That can be just as dangerous.
Did you hold him for me? Thank you. Do you like puppies? Yeah. Do you like to see a lot of puppies? You want to play with a lot of puppies? Do you have a dog? Do you have a dog? 2 dogs. What kind do you have? You just come with me, okay? No? You can't?
One little girl wasn't fooled by Greg and ran straight to her dad.
But if I wouldn't have been here, she would have been pretty afraid. If I would have been over there on the other side, she would have been screaming, I think. Because the look when she came toward me was just sheer terror.
After the experiment, Greg showed the kids his badge, talked to the parents, and told them how to teach their kids that nice guys can be dangerous, too.
If they don't know anything's wrong and nothing really seems to be wrong, but something in their head or their heart says, wait a second, I don't feel comfortable with this. Let kids go with that and teach them to work with that.
Officer Cook teaches them that they do have a way to fight back against potential molesters.
We need to really be real and think. You got a sword?
Yeah.
You got a magic wand? You know what you do have? You got a screamer.
There are several things kids can do to protect themselves. Say no, run away, tell somebody. Tell mom and dad if somebody touches you in a way that makes you feel strange. And if somebody grabs you, teaching your child how to react in the face of danger is no guarantee, but it does reduce the odds of somebody stealing your child's trust, just long enough to steal your child. Christina Mendonça, 9 News Extra.
For those viewers with specific questions about sexual abuse of children and how to prevent it, we have the names and telephone numbers of 2 national organizations that could help. They are Child Help, that's at 1-800-422-4453, and Child Watch at 1609, that's 1609-858-7800. Well, this day after America honored its veterans, women who served their country are celebrating a moral victory. After a 10-year grassroots effort, the Vietnam Women's Memorial is to be dedicated next year on Veterans Day. The bronze sculpture is to depict 3 military women and 1 wounded soldier. Today in Washington, the Vietnam Women's Memorial Project held a ceremony kicking off a 1-year countdown toward the dedication of that memorial.
The Vietnam Women's Memorial Project has weathered its share of rainy days. But even Mother Nature, in her infinite wisdom, has bestowed the gift of glorious sunshine to mark the achievements that bring us together today. It is a privilege and pure joy to welcome you to the countdown to dedication of the Vietnam Women's Memorial. Thank you for standing with this project through the ever-challenging, oftentimes seemingly endless odyssey. Today's milestone has indeed been well earned.
The new sculpture will be near the wall, that is the Vietnam Memorial, on the western end of the Washington Mall. Diners, well, they may be ready to toss the diet shakes and dine on some frozen dinners. And that's just ahead on NewsHour.
Yes, give me a kiss to build a dream on. My imagination will drive upon a kiss. Sweetheart, I ask no more than this. Kiss to build a dream on.
Your ship is in. Crown Cruise Line. You probably think you know all you need to know about Anacin. Well, you don't know everything. Anacin is such a strong pain reliever, headache sufferers find Anacin more effective against stubborn headaches than regular strength aspirin. So if you get the kind of headaches that affect your work, the kind that put you in a bad mood, the kind that keep you from enjoying yourself, rediscover Anacin for stubborn headache pain.
A late night snack, and no bag keeps it fresher than Ziploc brand storage bags with the gripper zipper. Tough, tiny teeth you can feel gripping, so you know freshness is locked in.
Honey.
Caught red-handed. There's only one Ziploc.
I try to ignore my sensitive teeth, but they hurt.
Sensodyne helps stop the pain that can make you stop brushing, could lead even to tooth loss. And now, Sensodyne has fluoride.
Fluoride, great.
New Sensodyne helps stop the pain of sensitive teeth.
Swedish researchers say they find that children living near high-voltage power lines are 4 times more likely to contract leukemia. All wires that carry electricity produce magnetic fields around them. The Swedish researchers say they found the risk of cancer significantly higher for those exposed to the strongest magnetic fields. There's a new study showing that people at high risk of getting a fatal genetic disease feel better knowing the chances, even if the news is not good. CNN's medical correspondent Jeff Levine explains.
For most of his life, Billy Hayes feared that having children might be too risky.
It's something that like haunts you. It's something you can never get out from underneath.
Huntington's disease runs in his family, and he had a 50% chance of inheriting the fatal mind-wasting disorder, which often strikes before age 40. 3 years ago, Hayes, now age 37, decided to take the blood test that would show his chances of getting Huntington's disease. The news was good.
Went to bed that night. I laid in bed and I cried for a while, and you know, that's a lot of years of stuff that I just pushed down inside of me, and I just let it out.
Now a new study has evaluated 135 men and women at risk for Huntington's. The results show that giving these people good or even bad news about their prospects is helpful.
Those people who get no results don't improve in their overall well-being, while those who do get their results, be they good news or bad news, do significantly better over time.
This contradicts earlier concerns about how those with the devastating genetic condition might react.
Would cause that person to become very depressed and demoralized and see the future as so bleak that there might be a serious risk for major depression and suicide.
The key, says Brandt, is a long counseling process to sensitize the person to his condition. And these results don't mean it's okay to tell an individual he's at risk for Huntington's without the appropriate support. For Billy Hayes and his wife Jane, the news meant they could get on with the family.
I honestly don't know if I could have gone through with it.
One possible downside of the testing is that the information could be used against Huntington's patients to prevent them from getting medical insurance. So activists are urging Congress to enact genetic privacy legislation to prevent that kind of abuse. Jeff Levine, CNN Medical News, Washington.
Now, blood donated by family and friends is more likely to carry hepatitis or syphilis than the blood from the general volunteers. This is according to a study organized by the National Institutes of Health. One government official says the volunteers who suspect they have those diseases are less likely to donate, while family and friends may feel obliged to donate anyway. However, the study finds that blood from the volunteer donors at large is more likely to carry the AIDS virus, apparently because some people who just suspect they're infected with AIDS donate their blood in order to find out. Environmental group Greenpeace is claiming pollution contributes to the rapid rise in breast cancer around the world. Greenpeace urges, therefore, the use of chemicals called organochlorines, such as DDT and PCBs, be phased out. A scientist with the American Cancer Society says the evidence presented by Greenpeace is flimsy and further research is needed. In our food and health report today, the popularity of those diet shakes is declining, so dieters are returning to real food, prepackaged and calorie-controlled. Here is CNN's food and health correspondent, Carolyn O'Neill.
It didn't work for Oprah, and it didn't work for millions of other dieters either, who spent millions on diet shakes to shake off extra pounds.
First I tried Slim Fast,
right? One delicious shake in the morning. Yeah, then migraines and diarrhea for the rest of the day.
So as weight loss turned back into weight regained, the popularity of these meal replacement drinks took a dive. Slim Fast sales slipped 64% in the first quarter of 1992.
Because there are a lot of folks out there who just felt like drinking a liquid was not going to be enough. They wanted the opportunity to be able to chew, so that in reaction to that or in response to that, many manufacturers developed foods.
And now that the popularity of diet shakes has crashed, what next? Well, convenience is still a priority, but there's a big return to eating real meals, frozen and ready to microwave.
What we are doing with our products is we want to be sure that the taste is absolutely the best possible taste that we could offer the public, because when you're eating healthy foods, they need to taste good as well.
Good. Very good. Stover's Lean Cuisine is credited for cooking up the low-cal craze, but now the freezer case is bursting with diet choices, from barbecue to Mexican. And just about every company interested in a bite of the diet dollar is in on the frozen lean, light, or healthy act. But you can't live your life in the freezer section, according to dietitian Evelyn Trivoli. Someday you may have to learn how to eat and cook healthy foods on your own.
The other problem I see with diet foods, because the word diet has the word die in it, there's always this perception of I can't wait to get off, and there's this issue of deprivation. And the more you feel deprived, the more you'll overeat. And study after study has consistently showing that.
And the I'm still hungry complaint must be an issue. Why would so many of these new diet dinners boast about generous servings? Carolyn O'Neill, CNN, Atlanta.
And just ahead on NewsHour, when a pin is a win.
That's what I want.
Washington apples. They're as good as you've heard.
Give me a kiss to fill a dream on. My imagination will try to find a kiss. Sweetheart, I ask no more than this. Kiss to fill a dream on.
Your ship is in. Crown Cruise Line.
After examining, testing, analyzing, it's a fact. You can buy new Preparation H hydrocortisone cream with the maximum strength available without a prescription. It has a level of medicine that was prescribed by doctors for years. New Preparation H hydrocortisone cream. It's new, it's maximum strength, and it effectively relieves problem itch. New Preparation H hydrocortisone cream. Prescription strength without a prescription.
Well, all the ballots now are counted in Mendocino County, California, and the county supervisor, Liz Henry, is pretty glad she voted for herself. The final tally, including the absentee ballot, shows that Henry won by 1 vote. The challenger has until Monday to ask for a recount of the nearly 8,000 ballots cast. And you might call it the School of Hard Knocks. CNN's Robert Vito paid a visit to a California school where the students learn to hit below the belt.
That's what I want to hear. I want to hear the grunt and groan.
It is not a pretty sight, but then the world of professional wrestling never has been. And this is where some aspiring students are learning the tricks of the trade.
That's what I want. Knock them on their butt. That's the job here.
Ever since he can remember, this is the career Bob Bradley has aspired to.
You got to go through a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, but you have to remember to hang and bang, say your prayers, eat your vitamins.
Jason Young, who calls himself Jammin' Jason, came all the way from Indiana to learn the ropes. Like most of these students, he hopes wrestling will make him rich.
I want to be a star. I want to be a wrestling star. I love to hear the crowd cheer and the anxiety pumping.
Tuition is about $2,000 for a 6-month course. And the current occupation of students range from stand-up comic to accountant. With the popularity of wrestling continuing to boom, business here has been growing by leaps and bounds. The school's co-owner, Bill Anderson, also known as the Black Knight, says it's part showbiz. But mostly, he says, it's athletic skills, guts, and plenty of risk.
I've had 27 stitches in my lip, and I've had a herniated disc in my lower back, and I've broken fingers.
Victoria Moreno, the only woman in the class, is preparing for her first pro bout next month.
Because these women don't have a pity on them.
They don't. Moreno says it's just good training.
I mean, wrestling with all these guys, and then when I wrestle girls, it'd be a lot easier.
Well, maybe. Robert Vito, CNN, San Bernardino, California.
Well, just ahead, we'll have a special preview of Governor Clinton's first news conference as the president-elect. And then, of course, we'll go live to the news conference itself in Little Rock.
Blue chip stocks adding little to Wednesday's advance. I'm Terry Keenan at the CNN Business News Desk in New York. Gains in Philip Morris and IBM doing little to lift the Dow Industrials. Right now, the average is down more than 4 points at 32.35 in heavy trading. The other indexes are mixed, with over-the-counter stocks turning lower after 6 winning sessions. Some continuing improvement in the U.S. job market. Claims for first-time unemployment benefits dropped in the last week of October to their lowest level in 2 years. That sent bond prices lower. The Treasury's 30-year issue off 6/32 in price. The yield up to 7.67%. But interest rates in Europe are heading in the other direction. An hour ago, Britain cut its key lending rate 1 percentage point to 7%. That's the lowest level in 15 years. London stocks jumped ahead of that move. The Financial Times 100 index rose 29 points to 27.26. Earlier in the day, France also cut its key rate. And that's the latest in financial news. CNN's special preview of President-elect Clinton's first press conference just ahead.
After examining, testing, analyzing, it's a fact. You can buy new Preparation H hydrocortisone cream with the maximum strength available without a prescription. It has a level of medicine that was prescribed by doctors for years. New Preparation H hydrocortisone cream. It's new, it's maximum strength, and it effectively relieves problem itch. New Preparation H hydrocortisone cream. Prescription strength without a prescription.
Sally Brown on the uneven bars.
No matter how well you plan, no matter how hard you try, there's always the possibility that something can go wrong. That's why nobody should be without the protection of a big, strong insurance company, MetLife. Get Met. It pays.
Another new car? What, did you get tired of the old color? No, we get a new car every 2 years. How do you do that? Oh, it's simple. We lease from our Ford dealer. Isn't that expensive? Mm-mm. Get a lot more car for your money when you lease. I got this new Taurus with a great stereo, power, everything, even dual airbags for a lot less than you think.
Right now, lease a '93 Ford Taurus for $248 a month for just 24 months.